Coming up next on Access Framingham TV is Framingham Fan to Fan, where we discuss all things sports in Framingham. Today we're going to talk Framingham High School Gymnastics. Stay tuned. This is going to be athletic and artful. This is Framingham Fan to Fan on Access Framingham TV. Hi, I'm Dave Hornfischer, a Framingham sports fan, and I'm pleased to host this interview show whose purpose is to highlight those who are involved in Framingham sports at all levels. We hope through this show to increase awareness, participation, and especially fan support of these fun sporting events, and also to help use sports to achieve our station's goal of building community. Today I'm pleased to welcome the assistant coach and two of the co-captains of the Framingham High School Gymnastics team. Ashley Paulson.
Taylor Chapman.
And Kelly Callahan. Welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Ashley, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about your background in gymnastics?
Sure. So I am a Framingham native myself, born and raised. I started gymnastics at the age of 5. I trained year-round at a gymnastics facility which is called Gymnastics Training Center. It's actually now re-owned and managed. It's now called Shen's Gymnastics Academy. This is where our team practices, so the kids get a shuttle from the high school to Halston for our practices. And growing up, seeing the team, having their competitions there every Tuesday and Friday night, I really got inspired, and I've always loved coaching. I helped out growing up when I was in high school with some of the preschool classes, and I knew that coaching was something I always wanted to have in my life.
So the head coach, Sandy Mayer, couldn't be with us today, but
Correct.
she's been the coach there quite a while, I guess.
Yep, she's now on her 27th year and still killing it.
So she must be great to work with.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah. And so let's hear from our athletes here. Taylor, when did you get started?
I also got started when I was about 5, and at first, I just did it for fun. At that time, I was still doing soccer and dance and everything else. And then once I got more serious, I also went to a club gym in Sudbury called Massachusetts Gymnastics Center in Sudbury. And then once I did that and got into high school, I joined the high school team because I just loved it so much.
How did you get started? Just doing cartwheels in the backyard? Or how does one get started in gymnastics at age 5?
Well, I would climb on the furniture and on the counters, and my parents didn't want that to happen around the house anymore, so
that's a great story.
They wanted to take me and put me somewhere where I could do it safely, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Kelly, how about you?
Same kind of thing. I think I started a little bit later than some girls at gymnastics, but my older sister, who's 3 years older, started out doing it pretty early, so I went to her meets a lot. Then I started to do classes on my own, join the team and things like that. And then I started doing high school gymnastics my first year.
So when you're doing gymnastics, what really motivates you in this in doing this? Is it the art form? Is it the athleticism? Is it?
Especially in a high school setting, I think the team camaraderie really helps. You kind of build off each other. You have that momentum. They encourage you to get new skills, to push yourself harder, more than you think that you're capable of. Also, having a semi-strict coach, I would say, I am myself. That's how I think we've gotten really, really good over the past 3 years that I've been with the team. Having Sandy's knowledge, being there 27 years, obviously helps a lot. And then I used to coach a club team for 5 years, which also gave me access to a lot of the girls that were in the community, and I kind of convinced them, you should join this high school team. I'm going to be coaching in Framingham. So girls that I knew that grew up in Framingham, I was excited to see them come up and be on the high school team one day.
Well, what do you both like about doing this?
I enjoy doing gymnastics just in general. It's what I've always done, and I think getting the new skills and kind of just doing things that most normal people can't do, I enjoy it so much.
That's got to be cool, that phrase, being able to do something that normal people can't do. Yeah, wow, that's exciting. How about you, Kelly?
I think similar to Taylor, but also accomplishing new things, getting over your fears as well, because gymnastics is a very mental sport. You get in your head sometimes, but getting over those obstacles is really something that's important.
Yeah, there's such a perfection that you have to reach it. I mean, it's one thing to be able to just barely do some of these things, but do it perfect. Now, we're going to have a little video we're going to put up in a few minutes, and we'll have some athletes going. But why don't we just talk briefly about a competition? You told me before the show that there's typically four events in a competition.
Correct.
And we're going to see some of those, right?
Yeah, so generally speaking, the girls compete on the 4 gymnastics apparatuses, the vault, bars, beam, and the floor. What's great about being on a high school team versus like girls who generally prior to high school maybe competed in USA Gymnastics is in that setting on a club team, you have to compete in all 4 events. You can't pick like, oh, I'm not so good at the bars, so I'm going to pass on that. But fortunately enough, when you do come onto a high school team, you can pick what events you want to do. And say one meet, I want to do vault, and then the next one you're like, you know what, I kind of want to try and beam. You can come to your coaches and let them know that, and we're always willing to work with the kids that are on the team and give them more opportunities to put themselves out there, which is great.
And what are the events that both of you are involved in?
This year I'm doing bars and beam.
Okay. And this year means you had done something else before?
Yeah, so prior to this year, I had competed vault and I did floor once or twice.
Okay.
But yeah, going into this season, I was not 100% healthy, so I had to kind of know my limits, and bars and beam were those limits for this year.
Those don't strike me as limiting events, but we're going to see some of that in a second. And why don't we just wrap up with you, Kelly?
I've done vault all 4 of my years, and then I started doing some more beam this year as well.
So you're both seniors, and you're the 2 co-captains?
The only captains.
You know,
Yeah.
and you've been doing this 4 years here? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't we run the video, and I'd like you guys to comment on this. Okay, we're starting out with
That's our sophomore, Hannah Laskowski.
and that was
She's one of our
that's
all-stars.
a floor exercise, right?
That was the floor. Here's another floor routine. That's junior Sarah Anastasi.
And who we got here?
We got sophomore Angela Burke, another one of our all-stars. She's one of our gymnasts that does compete in the all-around. She also competes on my old club team, so I convinced her to switch gyms, and
Okay.
now she's under better coaching, and she's learning a lot of new skills. Again, junior Sarah Anastasi.
So this is a bars?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the bars.
Yeah.
This is part of their floor routine.
Okay.
So it's not only consists of tumbling, but they also have turns, leaps, and jumps that they have to incorporate into their routines. So what the judge is looking for here is see how she kind of missed that handstand and there. So she'll get a minor deduction for not hitting the handstand completely.
And this is the ending of a routine, these pictures usually?
Could be. It could also be in the middle. This is Taylor.
Okay.
I know what she's thinking. I better do a good routine or Ashley's going to kick my
Well, when you were standing up on that thing, it would have been, I'm afraid I'm going to fall. I mean, doing that on that beam just has
4
always
inches.
terrified me.
Or off.
Yeah. I mean, once you get used to it, like you kind of get up there and you kind of get in this headspace that you don't realize you're only on 4 inches.
Right. I understand that.
And like we said, a lot of the gymnasts that we do get have either had prior experience,
Oh, look
whether
at this
it was
on a beam.
yeah. That's normally her the way she mounts the beam, gets onto the beam.
Oh, really? Okay. Now this she's
See?
just really
Perfect.
straight. Isn't
Yes.
that nice and straight? That's probably going to get a, what, an 8 or 9?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hannah scores very well on bars. She's very clean. She has
And this
great
is a
lines.
vault. That was.
Back on the floor. See, now this is part of the dance in her floor routine. Another all-star who does compete in the all-around.
Yeah.
And does dance too.
Yes, she's an amazing
Oh,
dancer.
really?
So her
Oh.
lines are immaculate. And this is the dismount off the beam.
Wow, yeah, the body positions when you freeze it. Oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
nice
That is-
full, almost 180. That back
Boy.
leg, she was one of my club gymnasts, so I can tell her she can be a little bit cleaner.
That was pretty
Lift
good.
that leg up a little bit higher.
Yeah,
But there I am
love
in the background. See, they know if they
Oh,
fall.
there, look at the look on your face. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, well, that's Belichick usually doesn't smile, does he?
Exactly. I smile at the end, I
That's
promise.
nice and straight.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
That's
that.
much
That's
better,
pretty
see?
good.
Mhm. That's
yeah,
good.
Well, the toes are pointed. And
More tumbling.
oh, that looks like she's about to hurt herself. That's a nice.
So the big thing on bars is like body positions, making sure you're nice and tight. And the higher difficulty skills you have, your routine's going to start at a higher start value. So if someone didn't have as much bonus or difficulty, it's harder for them to get their score into the 8s or the 9s. So it's all about what kind of bonus that you add into your routine to help your score increase. Again, that's the all-arounder, Angela Burke. She's one of the twins on the team, the twins. We got 13 new freshmen this year.
And the team
So we have a
has-
nice young team. We only have these 2 captains are seniors, and we also have one other senior, Jess Wolf. That is actually her.
Oh, okay.
So we're only graduating 3, which is good. We have a nice young team.
Yeah.
You'll see some tape for some injuries that we got to work through.
So this is a dangerous sport.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have right now 2 kids in boots. We had 3.
Yeah.
That's another reason why Taylor stopped doing the floor and the vault, because her back just couldn't take the pounding
Tended to
anymore.
get hurt in practice more than in a meet?
Both, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
It depends. Like sometimes people get nervous, so they like hesitate during their skills in the competitions because everyone's watching. So that could help, kind of.
The concentration to be doing this is, it has to be an amazing thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
talk about golfers concentrating on a putt. I mean, you just can't be thinking about, or is it just, or does it come so natural to you that you don't want to think?
I think it depends on the skills in the event
Yeah.
for some people. At first, especially this year, beam was definitely like, I was never like in that like space where I could just kind of space out and
Right.
just do what I needed to do. And like, whereas on bars, like I can do a routine like in my sleep if I need to.
Sort of like music in that ways, I guess. I've heard musicians talk about that they get into such a space.
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
Yeah. Well, that was the video, and I think
Yes.
we'll rerun it again when we get down to the last 4 or 5 minutes of the
Okay.
show here. But let's just talk a little bit about some of the moments that you've had in gymnastics, 1 or 2 that you really 10 years from now are kind of stuck in your brain. You know, it's do you have one for me, Taylor?
I think a big one was probably at our last meet last night for our senior meet. I was able to do beam again and get one of the higher scores, and it was just like I was proud of myself because the way I ended my club season, I did not do so well on beam. So just kind of to be able to come back and know that I was able to finish the routine and do what I needed to do, not only for myself but for the team, was something that like I was really proud of.
And so the team has, you told me before, is it 6 athletes competing on each event?
Yes, and
And-
Taylor's
and-
done a great job stepping up and putting her back on that balance beam. She wasn't too happy at first, but
And
we've been
so-
fighting through some injuries, and we also had a few of our teammates that were sick yesterday. So I was like, Taylor, we're back on that beam today, and she killed it. She nailed it.
Must be a good feeling when your score is one of the 4 that gets counted, right?
Yeah, so basically 6 girls get to compete on each event, and we do try and get throughout the whole season every girl on the team up there at least once. And it kind of gives you, as a team, like 2 people that you can, trial and error, see what kind of new skills they want to throw into their routine, and kind of see what they'll score. And then you have those 4 scores that you need to count on.
So Kelly, what's your lasting moment that's going to last for a little while anyway?
I think it also happened at our senior meet the other day. So the underclassmen usually make us these posters and I'll sign their names. So after the meet, I went home and I read through all of them. It made me really felt inspired by all these girls who really look up to us, and I really look up to them as well. So I think that'll stick with me
You
for a
can
while.
probably remember when you were a freshman and when you were first on the team, right? Was it a kind of an awe-inspiring sort of thing? If people are out there in middle school watching this, you maybe have been doing some gymnastics in middle school. What's kind of the messages that you might want to pass on to people and say, encourage them to continue this or try something else?
I would say that at first it might seem intimidating to come join the team, just because I know for me, I was like, what if I'm not good enough? What if I don't compete? It's really not that intimidating, and once you get into the gym environment and get to practice with all the girls, it's really just such a fun, supportive environment that I'm just so thankful that my freshman year I didn't not join. It's just been so amazing to be part of the team for 4 years.
Yeah, there's probably 2 views for a new person coming in. Oh, I'll never get to be that good, or wow, I can
Exactly.
be that good.
Yeah.
I've heard musicians say that.
And everyone is so welcoming, and I actually was talking to one of my freshmen this past practice, and she was like, I was so convinced I was not going to compete the whole year. I stopped doing it in 7th grade, and my skill set just wasn't there anymore. And she's competed every single meet because you never know what can happen. We've had multiple injuries. People can be sick. grades could happen. There's a variety of different things that you never know. So don't get into that mindset. And honestly, like, we practice 4 days a week. We're in there for 2 hours. There's so many people around you that are trying to encourage you to build on your new skills, or just tune up any of the things that are in your routine that you might need help on. And everyone is always just so willing to help you.
And Kelly, you said you started a little bit late in this. What was that a little bit intimidating to think about being on the high school team as a freshman?
Yeah, I think so. I thought, I don't know, I was kind of like Taylor going in. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever compete. But then when you get there and you have all these people who are really willing to help you, and everyone's really supportive, and it's like a little family we have on the team. Yeah. It's really nice to join that.
I think the biggest thing too, in comparison to a lot of other high school varsity sports, is gymnastics does not do any cuts. So it helps, like, a lot of the kids, like, they'll try out for freshman basketball or freshman hockey, and they get cut, or they have to be on JV.
Right.
Here it's just like everyone makes it, and we're willing to work with anyone, whether it's you've never done gymnastics in your life or you've done it for 10 years.
And your team is an all-girls team right now? But
Currently, yes. Last year we did have a senior who graduated who was a male athlete, and we are on the hunt for, we have some prospects
You do.
that we see where we practice that are in the middle school right now, so we're hoping they're going to join our team.
Is there a program in the middle school in Framingham for informal or whatever that kind of...
So there's no like actual program, but most like middle schoolers, either they participate in a club like in one of the surrounding towns, whether it's Ashland or Sudbury or even Holliston.
There's not a club team in Framingham.
Not that I know of.
No.
And there's also not a facility in Framingham, right?
Correct.
Because you mentioned that you have to do your events in Holliston.
Yeah.
Which probably means bus rides every day
And no bus ride back. So either if you're a senior, junior with your license in a car, you can drive yourself there and back, which means extra gas, money, but the bus only brings you one way. So all the girls on the team, their parents have to come pick them up.
That's a big commitment. Huh?
It is a big commitment.
Yeah, but you probably can carpool it a little bit with people.
Yeah, we do.
Right?
Yeah, and girls who live in like similar neighborhoods, they also like switch off with their parents driving.
So what would it take to get a facility in Framingham? I mean, what do you need for a gymnastic facility? Is it about the size of a basketball court?
You can fit everything you need in a basketball court.
It's more so the money.
Yeah.
It's the equipment.
It's the equipment.
I mean,
It's the
setup,
matting. It's the
bars,
equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
And it would like, we would need somewhere like where you wouldn't have to like put up the bars and the balance beam and
Or you could leave it there.
yes, all the time. Like where we have our
So we
league
need a
meet.
private entrepreneur to start a facility.
Yes, that would be
The
great.
high school could use it. Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's one of the goals of this program.
Okay, that'd be
To
great.
create one of the major investors in Framingham. Maybe some developer, when he's building a big housing complex, might be asked.
That'd be great.
Well, why don't you
Sign
do a
me up.
gymnastic facility and you can run it?
I would gladly.
Because you were a business major in college.
I
so
was.
There you go. Okay, I think we're going to run the. Let's run the video again, and let's see if we can see some different stuff as we go through it again.
So you can see the girls normally like surround the team. That's me being crazy myself, pumping them up.
So you can't really coach somebody while they're in the middle of their routine, can you?
You're not supposed to, but I try to. I'm like, come on, squeeze those legs.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Or like,
Yeah,
I'll just say
tighten,
like, breathe. You got one more pass. You can do this.
Okay.
I've gotten in trouble,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to be motivating. But you can like stand there, like just in case, say she was like
Yeah.
to come out of bounds or whatever
You'd
the
catch
case,
her
just to be safe. Yeah.
As a safety thing.
But
Is
the
that leg
girls.
supposed to be bent?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, that's a ring jump
Okay.
or double stag. Sorry.
And what do you call that?
I should know.
Oops, we missed it. Okay, let's talk through this. What's happening?
So she went glide, kip, cast, handstand. So she misses the handstand all the way, and then she went to a free hip, which slightly not the handstand, but she knows that. The next meet she got it right in handstand.
Okay. And what about here?
This is Taylor, so she can talk.
Oh, it's going to be fast. We gotta hurry up.
It was a kip cast free hip squat on.
And you actually had to stand on the bar at the
Yeah,
end.
so then she jumps to the higher bar.
Yeah.
This is round up back handspring full from our junior Tiffany Chan. We just kind of made her get that skill back this year. She wasn't too pleased, but I made her, and there she was competing.
Okay, that's good coaching. Creating that motivation.
Yeah.
That's a nice back bend.
It is nice. Yep. So this is a giant. So even though she missed that handstand on the low bar, she'll get credit because she has that element that goes around completely. This is just a mount.
So yeah,
Nice
that was her.
Nice. See?
handstand.
She learned.
And there we go.
Yep. That's freshman Camille Broughton, another nice handstand. I think that's Martina.
And that's
Yeah,
probably an
that's so
expensive
much.
device.
The
That
vault.
yellow vault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See, one little piece
Yeah.
of equipment can like add up.
$10,000.
Yeah, I don't know the exact price, but it is expensive for sure.
Was that a 1.5?
Yep, back 1.5.
Back full, probably.
Yeah, back full off the beam. Nice switch leap.
You must see pictures of yourself in some of these positions sometimes and say, I can't believe I did that.
Like I couldn't do
No.
that. My back would be broken.
Yeah. I mean, like just that. I mean, it's just awesome, the height there. And the,
So see, slight miss of the handstand, but she has the giant. That's what that skill is called. She has. That's a very archy back, sloppy form. She knows though. I tell her. in
and
practice.
this,
See, that's a nice switch leap. Full 180 degrees. She would get the full credit.
and you have a team member that takes these videos?
Yes, it creates all these videos for us and takes all these
Yeah.
pictures. And I had no idea about it
That was
until
who?
today.
That was who?
Sarah
yeah,
Olson.
Yep.
Sarah Olson. Yeah, thank
Sophomore
you,
Sarah
for-
Olson.
for conveying
I
those
watched
to me.
all of these before I came here. I like almost was in tears. I posted on my Instagram because I was like, this is amazing.
And did you say she makes one for most every event, or she keeps that
Every meet.
every meet? Yeah.
So see, imagine me just standing there in your face. You're not going to fall off that beam. I'm looking at you like this.
Well, I don't know. You wouldn't want to be standing there if I was. So do you use these for your own training purposes, for a post-meet review of some of this
Yeah,
stuff?
honestly, so we also have like that flyer news on our high school. I would love to show some of this because, like you said, you had even no idea there was a gymnastics team in
Yeah.
Framingham, and
Right.
some of the kids that even go to our high school don't even know.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping this will get shown on FEC TV. It'll certainly
be awesome.
on AFTV.
Yeah.
Do you all get cable in Framingham? Okay, so it'll be on in about, this will run several times, and then we'll put it on YouTube as well. I'm reminding our viewers out there to look for Framingham Fan to Fan on YouTube.
Yes.
And also on Access Fram TV, where we have a on-demand service where you can watch these if you just happen to tune in late and you'd like to see this again.
But you can just see like in the background, like see that's obviously a lot of the parents or teachers and faculty
Right.
who come to support, but the teammates are always sitting around each event and cheering on their teammates, which is awesome. It helps.
Yeah.
We take pride in our cheering
Yes.
on our team.
We do
No,
a
I
cheer
mean,
before every single gymnast goes on each event.
I mean, I would think as a fan, I mean, so many of us watch the Olympic gymnastics
Oh,
and some of the
absolutely.
national competitions, but to know that there's something live like this happening right in Holliston, and the facility's located where in Holliston? Is it right on a main road? Is it easy to get to?
It's very easy to get to. I don't
Yeah.
know the exact address.
It's like High Street.
Oh,
or
Highland.
something.
I think it's Highland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, I know where
It's
that
right
is.
where
Yes,
you know
that's
the
right.
Creative Playthings
Yes,
is.
okay. And then,
You kind of go through Sherburne, and then I think it's 27.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
And then it's pretty. Yeah, it's not really hard to get to.
well, you have to find it 4 times a week, so.
Yeah.
So do I. I think I can drive there on
You know
autopilot
how
at
to
this
get
point.
there, but you can't tell me how
And
to
I've
do
and
it.
I've been going there since I was 5, so I should really know. Same facility.
So you're seniors in high school now. You're going on to college next year, maybe?
Yep. Yep.
But where does gymnastics fit in your future life? Just teaching your grandkids, or do you want to go out and continue to perform?
I'm hoping that I can still maybe coach in my future. I think this might be my last year actually doing gymnastics, just because it has been like a struggle just to kind of get like the skills back that I needed to and just kind of find that like place almost. So I think coaching is probably where I'll end up.
It's also
hopefully.
really hard to go into college as a freshman and compete or commit to like a extracurricular activity or club or sport while balancing your academics. I mean, most of them, they might go like far away. I know their top schools are not in Massachusetts, so
Really? Oh.
yeah. So just finding that balance, you're not at home anymore. Your parents aren't there to help you with little things like laundry. So figuring out the college norm.
So do a lot of colleges have club teams that are?
More are starting to get
Yeah,
them,
I think-
more so from when I went
Is
to
there a
college.
serious college athletic competition in gymnastics?
Oh, like
Yeah.
Division
Yes.
1, yeah, it's no
Division
joke.
I
There's-
mean, all these schools really have big facilities. I've never thought, does Boston College or BU or any of the
I
schools
think
around
they
here?
have like
BU, I think, has club. I don't know about
teams.
Boston College, but
Yeah.
when I
UMass?
UMass
I think they
might
have a
have
club
club,
team.
yeah.
Okay.
More so on the West Coast. I went to
Yeah.
Arizona State University and tried to be a walk-on as a Division 1 gymnast, and I was training 35 hours a week from the age of 10. So
Wow.
it's a big
Yeah,
commitment
so,
for
yeah,
sure.
So that's where the future Olympians are coming from.
No, they're starting at like
They're starting
that
at 4
that
or
many
5.
hours at 6.
Yeah. So as co-captains on the team, do you have a special role that you have to do, or?
We kind of do a little bit of everything in a way.
Whatever the coach wants you to do.
Yeah, Ashley will text us and be like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, well, getting 25 athletes all to Holliston 4 times a week. And
Yeah.
Luckily, the high school helps us with that, and the bus transportation company that helps a lot.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a burden on all of them
Yeah.
to transport all these kids and their liability.
So do you have any big regional meets that you compete in that are like?
Well,
Does the
this
Bay State League have a
yeah,
competition?
this weekend is our Bay State League competition. It starts at 8 a.m. at Newton North High School.
Yeah.
And then what they
How do you think you'll do in that?
we should do
pretty
well.
I mean, you told me before that your record's 5-2 in the meets that you've had. So.
I hope we get second.
Yeah.
First is a reach this year, but you never know. Like
Yeah.
the top team right now is Newton North. They've been good for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
They've always been the team that we want to try and chase. We could have had them this year, but it's okay. Maybe next year. But you know, they could fall on a certain number of events. Like some of their athletes
Yeah.
could fall, and we could hit. So honestly, it's anyone's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the scoring at a meet, I mean, do you do all of one event at the same time? Do you do all the beams together, or does it?
So
or
when
they
we
all, I seem to remember when the Olympics are going on, the whole gym is busy sometimes.
That's how we'll be at our
Yeah.
Bay State League. Just
Yeah.
because there's 8 of us in the league and there's only 4 events, so we're gonna have to be like on a bye, and some people will be waiting while others are competing.
But in a one-on-one team meet, like, is that the case?
It would be like Framingham would be on vault, and Newton North would be on bars, and maybe Brookline's on
Okay, so
beam.
yeah, so you're there getting scored by the judges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then each team will do all 4 events, and then at the end they'll say your team score. And then
What's the
they'll-
background of the judges? How does one get to be a judge?
they're like recruiting right now. They're actually
they?
asking our seniors, seniors, you guys want to start judging high school?
Oh, that'd be a good way for you to stay
Yeah,
involved in this.
it's
too.
really good money, and you can. I think you just have to be 18 to start. You could actually even be younger, but you just take a
Yeah.
test over the weekend. I think you go through like a little training.
Yeah.
And then there's the perennial Russian judge that scores everyone low.
Oh, there's
And on
yes.
that bad
Yes.
joke that, as I told you, the 28 minutes flies by
It
way
does.
too fast. This has been great. You've all made a nice case for people out there in Framingham TV land and beyond to get into gymnastics young.
And we're on a
to
great
stay
path.
with it.
Yes.
And it's a great training and great way to make your body and your brain work
Yeah, it
together.
teaches you really good discipline and a lot of.
And anybody out there in Framingham TV land who wants to exercise their brain, you got to turn back into Fan to Fan. We're on
Yes.
Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 8:30 on Framingham Access TV. Our shows are on YouTube and on the station's on-demand channel. So if you're interested in sports of any kind in Framingham, check us out. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.